I know that'll change eventually. So, okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Let's go. I love your hat, by the way, Plexus.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So, no, I wanted to like get you on here because I know you've been doing like I've been seeing all your posts, and I'm like, for one, I'm curious because I'm like, dang, I didn't know you were like you got into like content creation and like all
Yeah.
that stuff and like the health and wellness stuff you got going on. So I was like, how did you get into that? Because I remember after because I left, I'm in Florida right now, and
Yeah.
like I didn't realize that you were like gonna like be making content and doing all this stuff. So how'd you get into that? Like that's so cool.
Yeah, so it definitely was not my plan. Um, I I enjoyed content creating really like whenever I was in like high school because I graduated during COVID. And so like everybody was starting to, like make videos and stuff. So I graduated high school during COVID and I was enjoying like making TikToks or whatever, like never really posting on like Instagram or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and then when I went to college, same thing. I was enjoying posting on TikTok, but I never really thought anything would come from it. And then in June of last year, I
Mm-hmm.
moved from Kentucky, where I've lived my whole life, born and raised Kentucky girl, moved from Kentucky to New Hampshire. And honestly, it was like a really low place for me just because I'm a very independent woman. Like, I like to have all my own things, my own friends, my own activities, my own, everything. And I had none of that. Like, I had Cole and I had his family, and they're wonderful. Like, they are incredible. But it was like I had nothing of my own, it felt like. And really, like, how big church is to me. And so,
Oh
like,
yeah.
also losing my church family and like also losing like that outlet of serving people was just really hard for me. And just not having that point of like, I mean, they're also my family, so like I'm not from the
Oh.
Murray area. I'm from actually about 4 hours north of Murray in northern
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky. But like it never felt like I was without my family because I had my Purpose Church family, and then it was like moving so far away. I had his family, but it wasn't mine, and that was hard for
Yeah.
me. And a girl that I had never met before, her name's Libby. I actually just got off the phone with her before I jumped on with you. She randomly reached out to me and she was like, "Hey, like I just came across your profile, like I love X, Y, and Z, like my name's Libby. I'm from Michigan." And she told me a little about her and she's like, "Tell me about
Mm-hmm.
you." I thought it was a scam. I was like, I'm not telling this robot anything. And
It'd be like
so,
that.
nothing. I was like, you're not getting my money, And I was like, well, my name's Maddie. I'm from the South. I just moved to the North. Like, that was literally all I said to her. And she sent
Yeah.
me a voice message back. And she was like,
Mm.
oh, like, that's so fun. And she, like, started, like, asking me a few more questions. And I was like, okay, so now that I've heard her voice, maybe she is a real person, but she's a weirdo. Like, who reaches out to people like this, And so
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
being guarded. You know me. I'm like,
Mm.
you're not going to
Yeah.
fool me. So
Yeah.
I'm still being guarded. I send her back like a
Yeah.
short, super short, like voice memo back. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I love your accent, blah, blah, blah. And like, we just keep talking. And I'm like, this girl kind of seems cool. So I
Oh
like
yeah.
started like, I started to play ball with her, like whatever, like we'll
Yeah.
chat. And, cause I was lonely. I had nobody, and so I'm
Hey,
like,
come on.
whatever. I'll chat
I
with this
feel that.
random person on the internet. And
Mm-hmm.
like this is what your parents warn you of. But so we started chatting and she was just super funny and like down to earth. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like this is what
Uh,
social media is about. Like
mm-hmm.
networking, meeting new people. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So she's like, hey, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Plexus. And I was like, no, like, and then my red
Oh.
flags started going up a little bit more. I'm like,
Yeah.
like this feels disingenuous all of a sudden. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like, I would just love to get on a call with you and my leader, Chelsea, and like, just like answer any questions you may have about it. Like, I love our products. They're all natural. Like, I don't know if like gut health or clean energy or anything like that is what you're like looking for. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time I was like, I mean, I had started looking into gut health probably for about a year at that point, just because
Mhm.
I felt like I was doing all the right things. And like I think you'll get this as an athlete, like we're
Yeah.
disciplined, like naturally we do the right things. Like we eat
Yeah.
healthy, we drink our water, we get enough sleep, we move our body. And like I
Amen.
was
Yeah.
doing all of that and I felt exhausted all the time. Like I would wake up tired.
Oh.
Like I would literally wake up in the morning to go to the hospital to go to work. And I would be like,
Mhm.
what time can I take a nap today? Like I literally was waking up thinking about when I could go back to sleep just because I was tired.
Yeah.
I was living off of, this is so embarrassing, a quad shot, 4 shots of espresso from Starbucks every morning, basically. And I'm like, my
Yeah.
poor heart, but more than that, my poor gut, like that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not easy on your belly. And I would
Mm-mm.
be so shaky. Like I just had so much brain fog. And so like I started looking into like more natural ways because I
Yeah.
knew like ultimately like God has more for me than that.
Yeah.
Like he has more for me than feeling like I'm fighting with my body. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Like
Yeah.
he has
Yeah.
more for the people around me that I'm called to serve than me running on empty. And
Amen.
so I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, I kind of am looking into that stuff. And she's like, okay, like, I'd love to chat with you. So we got on a call with her and her friend Chelsea, and they were like telling me about the products. And I'm like, wait, like, these sound great, but still,
Yeah.
biggest skeptic in the world here. I'm like, send me the ingredients. Like, I'm going to look at the ingredients.
Yeah.
And I looked at all the ingredients. They're like all natural ingredients. Like, I'm researching them, and I'm like, these products sound legit. But even still, I'm like, I gotta pray about it. And it was one of
Yeah.
those prayers. I know that you've prayed one of these prayers where it's like, God, I already know what the answer is gonna be, and I'm not doing this because they're not gonna scam me. But do you think I should try these products? And
Yeah.
that was my prayer for probably like 4
Yeah.
days. And every time I prayed it, I just felt at peace about trying the
Yeah.
products. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
that's not what I was expecting. And
Right. Yeah.
so, yeah. And so I messaged her one day and I was like, you know what? Fine. I'll try them. Like, what? Let me just try them. Like I prayed about it. I have peace about it. Let me just try it. I got my
Mhm.
products in on day 3. I noticed a difference on day
Wow.
3. And I'm like, I'm hating this. Like, I'm hating that I was so skeptical about this. And I
Mhm.
did. Like, in the products, this is something that I actually wanted to talk about because
Yeah. Yeah.
as an athlete, like growing up and stuff, I
Mhm.
never used supplements. Like I was not in the supplement game. I wasn't using creatine. I
Mhm.
started to dabble in like some pre-workout probably when
Yeah.
I was in college, but never consistently. I never really knew the benefits of it. It was just kind of one of those things of, well, I'll try it, and then I didn't stick
Mhm.
to it
Yeah.
because I didn't know the why behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And something that like I know now that I wish I knew then was like honestly the importance of gut health, but also the importance of like blood sugar regulation, the importance of supplements, because
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
food, even when you're doing all the right things and
Mhm.
eating the right foods, even our
Mhm.
good food, our healthy food is not the same today as it was even 20 years ago. Like
Mhm.
we have soil depletion, we have, antibiotic ridden meats. Like nothing is
Yeah.
the same like nutrient density now as it was then, as far as even like down to the vitamins and minerals. And I really wish like
Mhm.
I would have been looking into that stuff as an athlete, like especially like simple things like electrolytes and creatine. Like
Yeah.
I've learned so much about creatine this year that I didn't know. And like
Yeah.
creatine has, yeah, it's great for building lean muscle mass, but it also has incredible cognitive benefits. Like I
Right.
don't think a lot of people know about like the cognitive benefits that creatine has, but it creates like a mental clarity. And I
Mhm.
mean, it's incredibly good for
Yeah.
women. I was under the impression creatine was like for meatheads. Like I'm going to be so real. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know that it was really for anybody else. And
Mhm.
so back to the story, I get started on the products and she's like, do you want to like ever like look into like making some money off of this? And I'm like, well, like, what does that look like? Like,
Yeah.
I've never done that before. And she's like, I
Yeah.
mean, really just sharing with a few friends. And I was like, well, I know a lot of people that are struggling with the same things that I was struggling with. And I'm like, so yeah, like I would love to help people. Like that's why I became a nurse. I love helping people,
Mhm.
and in my first month I
Yeah.
made almost $900 and I just helped a few people feel better,
Hey,
and like that, and like that's what
let's
I get to keep
go.
doing. Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, it
Oh
like
yeah.
opened my eyes to like a whole new world of things that like I didn't even think were possible as far as like finances and stuff go. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's been incredible. And in the process, I really have started focusing not just on like supplementing my body for now, but also like fit for life. Like that's the goal. Like I feel like as an athlete, whenever I was in school, like my
Yeah.
goal was like be the best athlete. Like it was very zoomed in, very like be the best Maddie Clark
Mhm.
basketball player, whatever that you can be. It
Yeah.
wasn't like looking at your life from like a 30,000-foot view. It was
Mhm.
more of like in the moment, how can I be the best athlete I can right now? Whereas like my perspective is really like shifted in a massive way of like, how can I steward this body and this health
Mhm.
that God has given me so that I
Mhm.
can serve other people to my full potential.
Oh, wow,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
even through Plexus, it's almost added a different layer onto that because it's added this leadership role, which I've always been like kind of namelessly assigned like the leadership role, or I've just
Yeah.
taken on that role. I think that's just a
Mhm.
gift that God gives certain people. It's also a skill that can be developed, but we've all heard the
Mhm.
term like you're a natural born leader. I think some
Yeah.
people just have those qualities, and it's really like relit my fire on how to lead women to do the same thing, like how to
Yeah.
lead and equip women to help
Mhm.
other women, whether that's
Yeah.
financial freedom, whether that is health, like feeling good in your body, stewarding your body well. Like it's all rooted in Christ. Everything
Mhm.
that I do, that you do, we know that goes without saying that it's rooted in
Yeah.
Christ. And really, honestly and truly, like that's where the whole perspective comes from. Like
Yeah.
how can I use this platform to spread the love of the Lord? And not in just
Mhm.
the typical like out loud like Jesus loves you type of way, because he
Yeah.
does. And like I would sing that, I sing those praises all day long, like thank God that Jesus does love me, a broken sinner. But it's like
Mhm.
also
Wow.
in the different forms of worship, like
Yeah.
discipline is a form of worship.
Yeah.
Self control is a form of
Yeah.
worship.
It
Like
is.
like honoring the Lord through your finances. Like all of these things are different forms of worship, and I really think like leading people well is a form of worship. Like it's all rooted in the
Yeah.
same thing of like honoring God, whether that's
It
with your
is.
body, your time, your finances, whatever that looks like, your life. Totally. So I
Yeah.
just talked for what feels like ever, but like, do you have
That
any
was
like
good.
questions or
That was so good. No, like honestly, that was amazing because like my whole goal with this podcast, I just want to like give people a voice. I want to like give you a voice just to share and talk. Like you were saying, like kind of be in the hands and feet of Jesus, like listening and where are you
anything?
coming from? What are you doing? So like what you said was cool. Like I was just sitting back listening. I was like, this is great. Like I knew I knew you were doing great things, but I was like, man, like to hear it, I'm like, wow, like you really got like you really got like a calling, like God really did something in you to like do something like good for the health and wellness and yourself and other people. Like you can just tell. You can really tell. I
Well,
could
I
tell.
appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I did want to touch on one more thing that goes with like that fit for life that we were talking
Uh-uh.
about.
Yeah, yeah, go
First of
ahead.
all, I love that perspective of like being fit for life, because I feel like so many people right now, and this is kind of getting thrown into the health and wellness space, weight loss. I think weight
Uh,
loss, like synthetic weight loss, is kind
yeah.
of getting thrown into the health and wellness space, and like something that like I'm really passionate about is like, yes, I think that there is a healthy weight that people can get to, but there's also a healthy way to get there.
Mhm.
And I hate that this idea of
Yeah.
like quick fix, get skinny quick. Like I hate that is what almost feels like
Yeah.
is intruding in the health and wellness space, because
Mm.
what I really think we need to preserve in the health and wellness space is this idea of being fit for life, like making decisions now that your 60-year-old self, your 70-year-old self, your 80-year-old
Yeah.
self is going to be thankful for. And not just supplements like what I was talking about, but also I've recently, within the last few years, gotten into Pilates. And in
Hmm.
the last year, I've actually started instructing Pilates as well. So I'm a nurse, I'm a Pilates instructor, I'm a business, owner, like I'm doing these things,
Man.
but it's all, like we said, rooted in serving the Lord, but also it's all like rooted in that like fit for life mindset. Like, how can I honor God with my life, with my body, with my gifts, for the
Mhm.
longest time possible. And I'm sure you've heard this phrase of like God's gift to you. Like your talents are God's gift to you, but what you do with your talents are your gift back to God. And
Mm.
I love that. Like,
Yes.
I've heard that since I was
Me too.
young. Yeah,
Me
my
too.
parents
Yeah.
had some good one-liners. They really did, and that was one of those one-liners that stuck with
Hey,
me. But
shout out to parents.
right. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But
For real.
I really got into the Pilates because it strengthens and lengthens your muscles, and it really is just like a form of exercise that you can do your whole life. And I also feel like that was part of that mindset shift that I had from when I was an athlete in school. And I was a
Yeah.
great athlete. Like I think there's something being said about like being determined to be great. That's a whole other story that we could talk about for a
Yeah.
different time. I think so many people just have this like apathetic viewpoint of like, I'll be average. I think average should be thrown out of the dictionary. Like, I think
Hey,
that
me
should be the
too.
biggest insult to somebody to be like, you're average. Like,
Man.
no thanks. Like, God didn't call you to be average. Like, if
Oh
God
yes.
has equipped everyone to be
Oh my.
great at something.
Yes.
Like he did not
Hmm.
call you to be average in the workplace. He did not call you to be an average mom, an average athlete. Like God
No.
has equipped you with the talents and the abilities to be exceptional.
My,
And
yeah.
I don't think like people talk about like their prime, like, oh, my prime was in high school, my prime was in college. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I think God has equipped you to be exceptional your whole life, and like
Come
that may
on.
look different. That may look different in each season, but you're
Yeah.
equipped. And I think
Hmm.
people forget that. They feel like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
big, that's scary. It's like,
Hmm.
no, like the God of the universe called you. If he
Mm.
called you to something, he's going to equip you to get through it. And so
Wow.
I know that we're like bouncing all over the place, but I think this all ties in so strongly to fitness and like
It does.
being healthy for life, and not like in a ego filled way, because I do feel like in high school, like I was lifting for weight, like I was lifting for the numbers. I was exercising like with a different mindset that was so like
Yeah.
pinpoint laser focused on the season I was in, and not
Yeah.
so much as focused on like my full life. Whereas like now with the Pilates, like I said, like that's a lifelong exercise
It
that you
is.
can do, and
Hmm.
just like also thinking, I don't know if you've seen recently, but I started training for a high rocks, and it's
Oh, I
so
think.
yeah. And
Hmm.
so it's
Hmm.
it's funny because it's so different from Pilates. Like Pilates is very like I said,
Yeah. Yeah.
lengthen and strengthen, like low weight, low
Hmm.
impact, but very
Yeah.
core focused. And a high rocks is like your big muscle groups. Like it's a lot of using your core. It's
Mm.
a lot of your back, your shoulders, your thighs, like it's a lot of your big muscle groups doing functional exercises like rowing, ski ergs, wall balls, like a
Yeah.
lot of just functional stuff. And it has been so fun training for that because it's so drastically different
Yeah.
from Pilates. Like
Oh,
I went from
I gotta get
training
in
in the
that.
gym, you know, I went from training in the gym in high
Hmm.
school and college, lifting heavy, ego lifting, some would say, really feeling
I
like I
get that.
had to really feeling like I had to tear myself down to be productive. I went from that extreme to like only to Pilates,
Yeah.
and like that was great, but I'm also like, I recognize, like, as a woman, I need
Mm-hmm.
to be lifting. Like, I need to be lifting some sort of weight just because your bone density as you age, like, it naturally, women are more predisposed to osteoporosis, blah, blah, blah. I know I need to be lifting some weight every week, and it was just like, it's so easy to get into this all or nothing mindset of like one extreme to the next, but really,
Yeah.
like, your health is so fluid, like you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
different needs and different seasons, and just being able to like look
Mm.
at everything from that like 30,000-foot viewpoint of like
Yeah.
what is going to best serve the lifestyle that I want to live. And if that is a healthy, like God honoring, fulfilling like lifestyle, then what can I do today that's going to create a better tomorrow for me? And
Yeah.
so being able to combine like Pilates and high rocks and plexus and nursing, and just being able to get it
Mm-hmm.
like all work in like one
Yeah.
big beautiful picture has been
Mm-hmm.
so fulfilling. Like getting to lead women in those different aspects of life has also been so fulfilling,
Yeah.
and it's nothing I would have ever imagined for myself.
Yeah.
And it's really nothing that, like, I'm gonna be so honest, like, it was really nothing that like I went all in on until like the last few months. It was like one of those things where like, I'll try it, I'll give it a year.
Mm-hmm.
That was my mindset. It
Yeah.
was like, I'll give it a year. If I'm not
Yeah.
where I want to be at in a year, then I can quit. Like, I give myself permission to quit. And I think too
Yeah.
many people give themselves permission to quit too often and too soon.
Yeah. That part. Seriously.
Like
Yeah.
if you want something to be a thing, you have to make it a thing. Like, you're
Exactly.
not
Yep.
just gonna wake up one day and it
Mm-mm.
be a thing unless you're putting in that work.
Come
And
on. You got
so
talk about it. Talk about it.
I know, and I know that you know that. Like, your podcast is proof of that. Like, you didn't just
Yeah.
wake up one day and everybody knew about your podcast. No,
Mm-mm.
you're out here grinding, you're out here working, you're out here finding, people to speak on it. Like, I think
Yeah.
people just need to be like wildly bold. Like, I really
Yeah.
think that, and like my prayer is to like for more people to be bold. Like, be bold
Mm.
in a decision, because you know what? If me coming on here saying I'm going to do a high rocks, that was bold, because you know what? I got to do a
Yeah.
high rocks now. Because
Now
I
you gotta
told
do
you
it.
I'm going to do a high rocks. Like,
uh,
already planning on doing it, but being bold and like making these declarations to other people, there's a sense of accountability that comes from that. There's
yeah.
also a position of authority that comes from that if you follow through.
Yeah.
Like,
Ooh,
if you follow
man.
through, there is that position of
Yeah.
authority of like, oh, she does what she says she's gonna do. And
Yo. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And if you, because
Mm-hmm.
we all know people that say they're going to do something and then they don't do it. Guess
Yeah.
what? I don't trust you. I can love you, but I'm not going to trust you to lead me. I don't view you as a position of
Mm.
leadership or authority, because if
Yeah.
you can't trust you, how do you expect someone else to trust you?
Mm. Yeah, man, you talking
Right?
heavy. You talking heavy. That's good.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
No. Yeah. I
if
agree.
you
Mm-hmm.
can't trust you to follow through on your word, why do you think
Yeah.
somebody else is going to trust you to follow through?
Mm. They won't.
So,
Oh my
and
gosh. So true.
and I think
Mm-hmm.
part of that comes from being bold. Like, make bold
Mm-hmm.
declarations where you're going with your life. This is your one life. Like, be
Mm-hmm.
bold. Like, be
Yeah.
wildly bold. Like, oh, what's wrong with Isaiah? He thinks he's going to do something with that pot. You're right. I don't just think I'm
Yep.
going to do something with this podcast. I don't think I'm just going to do something. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be something. One way or another, with you or without you, we're going places.
Absolutely. You already know,
And that's
man.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I could, obviously, I can talk. I'm a talker. I'm a professional talker. I swear I am. But like, mindset is a whole different thing that we could get into.
Oh
And
man.
one of my favorite things that I tell people, because like a lot of nurses that I work with,
Yeah.
they're like very surprised that I've only been a nurse for about 3 years. Like, oh, you
Oh
just
yeah.
seem so confident. Like, you just seem like you know what you're talking about. One, I trust the work that I put in school. Like, I studied hard. Like, I
Yeah.
know what I know, and I know that if I don't know something, I'm gonna ask. So
Yeah.
I
There you
trust
go.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
People trust me because I do what I say I'm going to do. But also, there's a component of like
Yeah.
fully 100% believing you belong in every room you walk into. Whether
Yeah.
it's your first time in the room, your second time, your 100th time, like if you believe you belong in that room, because you
Mm-hmm.
do. If you're in a room, it's because God sent you there. So let's just remind ourselves of that.
Come on. Come
Every
on.
room you walk into, you belong in. And I think
Mm-hmm.
people don't believe that. They shrink
Yeah.
themselves. Oh, I don't know if I belong. I don't know if this is where I should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
just like, I don't share that mindset. Like, I fully 100% believe I could walk into the room and it could be filled with the President of the United States, the Pope,
Right.
I don't
Right.
care who. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
respect you, but also I know I'm a respectable person, so you're going to
Ex-
respect me?
Come on.
And
Exactly.
I think there's just so much that mindset has to do with everything,
It
really.
does. Oh man. Man, okay, so I'm trying to get an applause button. So every time someone says something fire, I'm about to press that every time. Cause
I
that was
love that.
clean. That was clean. I gotta get that. Yo,
That is great. But yeah, I mean, I don't
man.
know. I don't know really what flipped for me, but it was just like one day, and I don't think I've ever lived an average life, but I think I lived a comfortable life.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah,
we learn in church,
yeah,
outside of church, like
you
most
do.
growth happens outside of your comfort zone. Like, God's not
Uh,
calling you to live comfortable. Like, do you think the cross was comfortable?
mm.
No.
Ooh, not at all. Yeah. Ooh, man.
Yeah. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think like one day I just woke up and was like, you know what? A move to New Hampshire is uncomfortable. It is. Moving away from my
Yes.
family, my church, my coworkers, everything that I've known, that
Yeah.
was uncomfortable. Like having to change my driver's license from Kentucky license to a New Hampshire license, that hit me for whatever reason. That
Yo.
was when I was like, dang,
Yeah.
dang, I didn't want that to change. You know?
Yes.
I
I
just
can
like,
personally
I was like, you
relate.
know what? Yes, I know you
Mm.
can. Yeah, exactly. Like, I know there's changes in your life that you weren't anticipating that God is going to grow something beautiful out of.
Yeah.
And I think so many people relate to that.
Yeah.
Like, the, like, I think social media and like different platforms that just aren't in person, I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing about that is being relatable and like
Yeah.
honestly like being raw and honest and open and sharing what you're walking through, but
Yeah.
choosing to not be a victim of what you're walking through, choosing to come out on the other side of it. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That
relatable.
part.
People need to see that. There's enough people that are ho hum sad about their
Yeah.
situation that think life is happening to them that don't realize they're
Yeah.
the main character.
Come on. Exactly. Yes.
Like, you have
Main
the
character
choice.
energy. We gotta pull
Yeah,
out your
you're the
main
main character
character
of your
energy.
own movie.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Gotta pull out your main character energy.
Because if who's the main character of Isaiah's story if it's not Isaiah?
Um,
Like whose choice
yeah.
is that?
Yeah. Mine. It's my
So,
choice. Come on.
right, it's your
Applause.
choice.
Applause. Hey, yo, that's crazy. Come on. Man. No, that is so true. Like, gosh, motivation is key for everything. Um,
Yeah.
So true. So like I also want to get into like entrepreneurship, like because I know like everything you do is like basically it falls under the umbrella. Like what we do is like entrepreneurship. So like
Mhm.
I'm big on this because I know like after playing basketball, I didn't realize. And I was talking to one of my friends about this that when you're an athlete, I feel like you have such a like unique mind to where you're like you were saying like it's not about like we're not average. Like average isn't an option for us, right? So like
Correct.
when you're an athlete it's almost like a it's almost like grounds for you have to make a business like you have like this at least for me I had this like creative like juice in me like as and I'm just like I gotta
Mhm.
make something out of what I wait hold on hello Theo's on the phone that's okay you can I'll take it in a second okay it's my niece sorry oh yeah but on the podcast she's on the other podcast too anyways
I love it.
yeah. No, I was saying like you can it's easy to make a like a business when you're an athlete because of our mindset. So I love that like with entrepreneurship, I was gonna ask you like what's like really satisfying about making money from what you do? Like what is like how does that feel? Like how does it feel from like making it from like being a nurse versus like what you're doing with Plexus? Like how does that
Yeah.
feel? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's so funny that you asked me this because this is basically what I talked about on my story yesterday. So I think like God's timing is so funny
Yeah.
because like
There you
yesterday
go.
I was sitting at my real job, my nursing job, on
Mm-hmm.
lunch, and I got a $427 payout from Plexus just randomly. Like
Yeah.
this probably like my sixth or seventh payout of the month from Plexus from my fake job, you know, because some people they
Yeah.
hate on anything that's outside of the box of what they know as normal. By the way, this box is going to keep you in the rat race your whole life. And I think that's where so many people are tapping into entrepreneurship is because they don't want to be defined by a box. They don't
Yeah.
want their life to be defined by when they can or can't get off work. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and when that money hit, it made me smile, and like not for the ways that like I feel like
Yeah.
some people may think like, oh, like yeah, anybody would smile when almost $500 hits their bank account. Like $500 is $500, but it
Mm-hmm.
made me smile because that money comes from one, helping other people feel their best self, which as we have discussed, I'm very passionate about the health and
Mm-hmm.
wellness space. So knowing that I personally have the opportunity to impact someone else's health and therefore as a byproduct impact their life and their
Mm-hmm.
family and be able to help equip them better to be their best version of themselves, that is so fulfilling. Two, it comes from either me personally helping someone or me leading someone to be able to help their people,
Yeah.
or leading, and as a byproduct, leading them to
Mm-hmm.
greater financial freedom. Because
Mm.
like I grow based off of my team's growth. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
their leader. And if there's one thing I take seriously, it's leadership. And so
Yeah.
knowing that like that is the fruit of my leadership, you know, and obviously of their grit and their determination and their willingness to show up, but just knowing that like that's what that payout's from. That payout is from leading women. Period.
Nah.
Like if it could be summed up into
Okay.
one point, it's from leading people, whether that's leading them to their own health or leading them to help other people with their health, or leading them as a byproduct of that to greater financial freedom. Like I grew
Yeah.
up very aware of my finances.
Yeah.
I always had everything I needed, but
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that it came at a cost. You know, I always
Yeah.
knew the cost.
Mm.
And I think more people relate to that than not. You know, like
Yeah.
there is no denying that money is one of the largest stressors in the United States today. I mean, it's the leading cause of
Yeah.
divorce. It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like it's one of the leading causes of anxiety and depression. Like
Mm-hmm.
so much of it is rooted in this money,
Yeah.
like this
Exactly.
idea of money. And so many
Mm-hmm.
people have a fear mindset when it comes to money. And, you know, I'm sure so many people have heard that saying of like, it takes money to make money. No, it takes being willing to take a risk,
Mm-hmm.
maybe involving money, to
Oh,
make money.
man.
Like scared people don't make money. You know,
Oh,
and
yes.
I believe that because I don't think God called us to be scared. Because guess
No.
what? If you're scared of losing your money, you have the
Mm-hmm.
wrong idea because it's not your money. It's God's money.
Yo,
So it's not
I
your
could
money,
just,
one.
hey, yo, come on.
You know, like it's
Yes.
not your money, and also like you owe it to you owe it to God. Like God, like fear
Mm-hmm.
is not something that God instills in you.
Come
So if you have
on.
fear over your money, it's probably because you're holding your money a little too tight.
Man.
And I just think like, cause yeah, entrepreneurship is a lot of risk, and a lot of time there's money that is involved in that risk. Like for me,
Yeah.
for Plexus, is very
Mm-hmm.
minimal, but well, I can't say that because I know that it may not be minimal to everyone, but like to
Yeah.
be able to generate income off of Plexus, all you have to do is buy your products. That's it. So like my
Yeah.
system I started on was Pink Drink and Active, and that helps to balance your blood sugar, regulate your insulin, and
Mm.
Active is our clean energy drink. And that system for a month's supply was about $130. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
$130 startup cost. And that
Yeah.
same month, I made almost $900. So like, yeah, it takes
Man.
risking a little bit of money, but like, what is that? That's like a 600 times profit,
Yeah, it really
and
is.
like, right, like people have to be able to see the big picture, but you know what? I think it stems down to people not trusting themselves. They make the
Mm-hmm.
investment, but they're worried they're not going to get it back. Why? Because they haven't shown up for themselves before. They
Mm.
haven't put in the work before. So
Yeah.
subconsciously, they're like, why would it be different this time? It can be different if you want it to be different.
They
Like
can.
people
Come
want to
on.
live differently. Like they want different outcomes, but they
Right.
don't want different
Come on.
processes. Like you want different results with the same work. That's
Mm.
that's not going to happen.
Come on.
It's
Yeah.
it's the same thing as being an athlete. You want to be a better
Yeah.
ball handler, but you're continuing to only go to practice. You're not doing skills work outside of practice. You're not, walking up and down the driveway with the basketball. Like, if you can't expect
Yeah.
to be better if you're not putting in any extra work. Like, you can't expect to
Mm-hmm.
make more money if you stay just going to your 9 to 5. You can't expect to, like, and I heard from somebody who I highly regard the other day. She was
Yeah.
talking on her Facebook about entrepreneurship, basically network marketing.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, like, your whole life is just relationships. Like, it's,
Yeah.
romantic relationships, coworker
Mm-hmm.
relationships, family relationships. Like, your life
Yeah.
is comprised of relationships that can also be termed as networking, as
Yeah.
your network. Your life is a summation of the networks that you create. And
Mm-hmm.
she said the other day, excuse me, she's
Yeah.
like, I get so tired of hearing from people, network marketing won't work for me. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
network marketing can work for anyone. Let me give you an example. The
Yeah.
gym can work for anyone, but the gym's not going to make you healthier if you don't go to it and put in the work.
Exactly.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
network marketing,
Come on.
entrepreneurship can work for
Yeah.
anyone if you make it work, if you put in the
Mm-hmm.
work. It's
Yeah.
not going
You
to work
gotta
for
dig
you
it.
if you don't do the work. Like, the work
Yeah.
works. Like, simply put, the work
Mm-hmm.
works.
All work
And
work.
right, it's not hard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just showing up. Which for athletes, that's
Yeah.
not hard. We had to show up to practice. We had to
Yeah.
show up for games. But for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who haven't held themselves to that standard we were talking about, that athletes hold themselves to, I do
Yeah.
think we naturally hold ourselves to a higher standard. Because why? Because people come to our games. You have people
Yeah.
watching you. You have scouts watching you. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
do hold yourself to a higher standard because you have
Yeah.
to. But also, like, why are we not
Mm-hmm.
holding ourselves to a higher standard in our finances? Like,
Mm.
who
Yeah.
who told you you had to live in that little house? Do you want to live in a bigger house? Do
Oh.
it.
Yeah.
You know? But that
Yeah.
is such a mindset shift, because
It is.
I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about this the other day, literally
Yeah.
yesterday. I've been taking a different road to work in the mornings, and there's
Mm-hmm.
this beautiful house. I want it. I will have it. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's on a beautiful property. It has so much potential. I'm a windows and sunshine girl, and it's basically all windows. I love it. But
Yeah.
I got back to thinking about, like, high school me, college me. I would have
Yeah.
been like, oh gosh, I can't afford that. Like, and not on my nursing salary. I won't be able to afford that.
Yeah.
Like maybe when I retire, but when I retire, I won't need a big house like that. No!
Mm-hmm.
Who told me that I had to think in this little box because that's where 90% of people live? I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
part of the 90%. I want to be part of the 1%. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on.
And
Yeah.
like, it takes like 10% harder work to be better than the 90%, but it takes
Yeah.
like 99%, it takes like the other 90% to be the top of that 10%, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it takes a little bit of work to be better than 90% of people, but it takes a
Yeah.
whole lot of
Oh,
work to be at the top of the rest of that 10%. I want to be at the
mm-hmm.
top. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
athletes are naturally predisposed to be in that 10% of people, you know?
Yeah.
But it's the
Yeah.
people that are determined to be great, that do not let failure be an option, that are going to
Yeah.
be at that top 1%. And like, I think that should be everyone's goal. I
Yes.
really
I agree.
do.
I agree.
You know, and And I
Yeah.
think entrepreneurship is so fun and exciting because
Yeah.
it doesn't fit in a box. It's not like you
Yeah.
can't say entrepreneurship is and give me one short sentence or one short
Yeah.
word, because it can be anything.
Literally.
Like if
Yeah.
you're passionate about something, go do something with that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what's so beautiful but also so scary about it to some people, is
Yeah.
because you can't put a definition on it. And I'm going to be honest, I was the world's most black and white person. That's why I love
Yeah.
math. There's one answer that's right. That's why I love math. And
Yeah.
I read
Yeah.
a book that I think probably changed my life.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you what it is. It's called, besides the Bible, obviously.
Yeah.
No, it's called Dream Manager. It's called The
Uh,
Dream Manager. And I think, I know, I know that I know that I know, I
yeah.
stopped letting myself dream because I was like, that's kind of
Mm.
scary. Like, I just
Yeah.
want this, like, cookie cutter nursing. I'll always have a job. Nurses will always be needed. I'll be fine. I'll make decent money because, surprise, I think people don't realize this. We don't make as much money as y'all think we do. We are
Ooh.
there, especially in today's
Yeah.
economy. Like,
Mm. My
we're not
sister's a
making.
doctor. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
well, she's probably balling, but like me, a little nurse, I am not making the money I feel like people think I'm making. Like crazy. Heck
Yeah.
no. But I was fine living in this little box. And whenever I had that like revelation of like just regarding my health, like God has
Yeah.
more for me than this, I also started reading this book. So like reading The Dream Manager, moving to New Hampshire, Libby reaching out to me, that all happened around June of 2025.
Yeah.
And it basically, at the end of the book, there was an activity, and it was like write a list of 100 dreams. And I struggled. I was like, I don't think I can. And I mean, it
Mhm.
probably took me a few weeks to write this
Yeah.
list out because I had just lost the ability to dream. Like, I grew up very middle class, very like,
Yeah.
you go to work, you come home from work, you have your family, you go to sleep, you go to work, you come home from work, rinse and repeat. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how I grew up, and I really
Mm.
didn't know anything different from that. I don't know. I just, somewhere along the line, I can't pinpoint a time when I lost the ability to dream, but it was
Yeah.
just like that whole idea was just relit for me in June. And then there have been so many affirmations with Plexus, like so many leadership recognitions that I've gotten. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think in March, I was the recipient of the Silver Stars Award, and only 36 people in the entire company every year get that. And we have like tens of thousands of ambassadors.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
it's such a recognition to me because
Yeah.
the Silver Stars Award goes to people that have helped develop the most
Mhm.
people. And like, that's why it
Wow.
meant something to me. It didn't
Yeah.
mean something to me because there are diamonds in this company that are making $20,000 a month that have never
Mhm.
earned silver stars.
Wow.
And so it's not like well, I've been in this long enough that I earned it. It's like, no, you had to grind, you had to serve people,
Mm-hmm.
you had to lead people, and like
Well, too.
that, lead people well, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is where that award is given out of. And
Yeah.
so there just have been so many affirmations that like I'm in the right place.
Yeah.
But I also want to add that with all of those highs, there were
Mm-hmm.
definitely some lows where I'm like, I don't think I want to keep doing this. Like, because as an athlete, you do hold yourself to such a high standard. And when you
Yeah.
feel like your results are not what you want them to be, you feel
It crushes
inadequate and
you.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe this isn't for me. That was when I
Mm-hmm.
was still in that I'm just going to give it a year mindset, that 1 foot in, 1 foot out mindset. And
Yeah.
that's why it was easier for me to leave, to want to leave, because I was like,
Yeah.
maybe this just isn't for me. No. Once I went out with that mindset, once I quote unquote burned the ships, like you burn the
Yeah.
ships, you're all in to staying where you're at. And
Yeah.
once I did that, it just felt like open door after open door. I love that
Mm.
worship song, but it really just felt like that. Like, no, once you go all in with something, God's going to make a way. And I think that is entrepreneurship, like, summed up. You just have to be bold enough to be
Yeah.
bold. Like, you just have to be bold enough to be bold about what you're passionate about.
Yeah, that is so true. It's like so I don't know if you've seen this meme, but it's like this black dude and he's like God is like saying, "Are you ready to go?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go." And he's like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "I don't know." And some people are like asking like, "Where is he going?" I was like, "I don't know, but I'm gonna go." Anyways. So it's like
Right.
I don't, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday too on another pot and he was like, oh no, she was like it was kind of like saying when you're like having faith in God, you don't really know the next step until you take that first step. So you like once you take that first step,
Applause.
yeah, yeah, take that first step, and then after the
Yeah.
first step, then the second step reveals itself. Then after you take the second step, the third step reveals itself. But you never can
Mhm.
see ahead of God. You can only see like
Ooh,
where you're at. So
that's
that's what's
good.
scary.
That
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You have to take the step first. You have to make the
Mhm.
decision first. Like an intentional decision. That's so
Mhm.
good. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard it described as this. You can be like in a mountaintop high in life, and you did a lot of work to get there. And let's say there's like a huge ravine,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
on the other side of that ravine, there's another mountain. You can take the hard way. You can walk. That'll be really safe. You can walk all the way
Yeah.
down, grind to get all the way back up, or you can take a leap of faith. And guess what? It takes taking that step off the side of that mountain to fly. Like,
It
you
does.
can't
Yeah.
fly if you need that comfort of your feet constantly being on the ground. But when you
Yeah.
take that step of faith, trusting that you are going to soar, that you are going to exceed, and putting your trust in God, but you
Yeah.
have to take that step. I think that's so good.
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
Man. Applause, bro. Applause. I'm gonna get that button for sure. This is my accountability. I'm getting that button for sure.
Good. You better get that button.
You gotta remind me that
I will.
No, that is so good. This is amazing. Like entrepreneurship, right? It's so like I think I also believe that like especially being in entrepreneurship or being an athlete or whatever it is, you have to have like you have to become something. Like it's not like
Yes.
you I know there's certain like athletes where you can watch like a YouTube video or you can, try to copy somebody else's like, the way that they do it, the way that they made their business, the way that they become that sharpshooter, the way they became
Hmm.
the amazing ball handler. But a lot of times what I've learned is that like if you can actually fall in love with it, become the person first, like
Yes.
become that person first and then
Hmm.
do the work to get that thing, it'll sustain you through the hard times. And
Yes.
it's like, yeah. Because I know when the hard times come, it's like if you're just grinding and trying to build it, but then you don't have the character to like withstand like in the rain, then that's when you
Hmm.
start to give up.
Correct.
And that's where the patience comes in because it's like you for example like if you want to build like like $1 million business if that's what you want to do, right? It's like it takes steps. Take the first step, can't see the second step, but in that first
Hmm.
step you're building character. God's building
Yes.
patience in you. God's building courage in you. God's
Hmm.
building boldness in you. He's building trust in you.
Yeah.
And like I think for me, like one of the things I used to struggle with, especially now, because I'm in a really good place when it comes to like basketball and coaching. I'm like doing these camps, which is really awesome. Like I
Hmm.
get to fly places and
Oh, I
like
love that.
train athletes, and but they're paying me for it. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. they're, they're
That's
really paying me.
awesome.
And but it took me like since 2020. That's when I started. It took me like 6 years to get here.
Yep.
And during those 6 years, like I was refining me and
Hmm.
like building up my character and making me a kinder person, teaching me how to teach, how to lead, how to coach, how to like yeah, all those things, all those character development qualities. And I was like, God, why is it taking so long? One time in a prayer, and this was like 2023 or something. He was like, well, you just got to be patient because it takes time to get to that 1%. Because people
Hmm.
at that 1%, they took their time. And a lot of I think one of the most overlooked things is character development, especially for like
Yes.
wanting to make like money. Because
Hmm.
imagine if you get that money, if you don't got a vision for it, if you don't know what to do with it, I mean, why it's just gonna you're just gonna blow it. So
Correct.
I think especially in taking small steps and having like small goals and like reading books for me, I have a ton of books. Like it's crazy. Is
You should
like
give me some recommendations. I love a good self-development book.
I got you. By the way, I wrote this one. It actually
Shut
so
up.
fascinating. I did, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes,
I'll
I
send you my
did.
address. I'll buy a copy from you.
This one,
That's
yeah, no,
awesome.
like, thank you. I wrote it 2 years ago.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's funny because I wrote it. I think I wrote it right before me and Carly got married, and then it started to like blow up a little bit, and then it like slowly went down. So like now I'm kind of like promoting it a little bit more because I feel like God's wanting to do something with this. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's dope.
yeah. But thank you. Yeah, no, character development. It's got. Let me show you. It's got some like you can draw in it. You got write all your thoughts in there.
Okay, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. All for athletes and for people that are like you and me that want to grow and
Yeah.
do all the amazing things like Plexus or
Mm-hmm.
writing books or all the things. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
dope. But I
Yeah.
do agree with you. I do agree with you. I think that it's easy to get discouraged when you're not where you want to be or when you're not where you think you deserve to be.
Yeah.
But I think just being able to have the grit, the mental toughness to be like, there's something that God's developing in me that's not done yet because of how great this thing is that He is calling.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Exactly. I'm telling you, like, that is so true. Cause like, okay, so like for writing that book, right? For example, I had got the idea in 2019, and I was like, ooh, I should write a book. Just cause like that was when I started to get those ideas. Like I should like start building businesses. And God was like, I got something better for you after college. And I was like, okay, what does that look like? So then I got that idea, and I was like, one thing I learned is like God will give you an idea, but then He doesn't give you the strength to carry out that idea until you're ready. And then I think I got the idea 2019. Then I started to write in 2022, which was like 3 years or something like that. And then it got published the next year. So like in those like span of 3 years, it was all development and just all growth and big things because this book has everything in it. It's got you can journal in it. It's got boxes. It's got yeah. So I don't know whatever God's got for you. Definitely, if you're waiting on something, then it's probably bigger than what you think. Cause yeah, which is honestly an encouragement. Cause it's like, dang, yeah, 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 yeah. It, it, that part, I literally just sent somebody that. Hold on, where is that at? I want to find that. Let me find that scripture real quick. I'm gonna read it. Also, shout out to anyone watching this. This is the Xavier podcast. We're not sponsored by DoorDash or Uber Eats, but if we were, that would be amazing. Um, that's the whole tagline every time I do a podcast. Where is that at? Oh, here we go. So Ephesians 3:20. We were just talking about that. Let's see. Oh, it's not connecting. Can you still see me? Okay. So Ephesians 3:20. Let's read it for anyone that's maybe this will be like a little soundbite or something. So now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Ooh, so good. So good. Yeah, it's so good. Oops, hang on, hang on. Hold on, I think I can send another people panel. Wait, hold on. Can you hear me still? Or see me? Might have to. Oh, invite people. Here we go. Hold on, people from the Xavier podcast. We are having technical difficulties. I am so sorry. This happens sometimes. But it is okay because sometimes in life you're gonna have technical difficulties, and we're trying to get everybody back on here right now. But that doesn't mean you quit. That just means that we got bad Wi-Fi. So we'll be back on in about possibly five seconds, hopefully. But in the meantime, while we wait, I just want to shout out to my non-sponsors, DoorDash and Uber Eats. Story time. I used to do DoorDash before what I do now, and DoorDash has really, really helped me just make a decent amount of money to like buy groceries and to like pay bills and things like that, like an electric bill. So shout out to them because even though we're not sponsored by them, I would love to be sponsored by them. And so would Xavier, who's helping me run this podcast. So shout out to DoorDash and Uber Eats. I've only done Uber a couple times, so DoorDash, that if you're listening, they might beat you. So that's the podcast break, and we will be back on shortly. Give us like 5-10 minutes, okay? Bear with us. This has been a long podcast. These are hour long, so. Ooh, I think I can send. Ooh, I sent another wipe. Ooh, wait. If I press X, will it destroy it? If you guys have been tuning in for this whole time, I encourage you to get some water or like a snack or something, because this will be like a brief intermission. And we'll start back up whenever we get reconnected. Yo, we're back. Let's go. I can hear you. Yeah. Oh no. Crazy. No, that's all good. No, I was saying, I was saying that like I wanted to read this scripture because I really, really enjoyed this scripture. We said Ephesians 3:20. I don't know where we left off. Is that where we left off? Okay. So, um, so Ephesians 3:20. Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. That's the verse that you said that I literally just sent. I literally just sent like my family that we were all talking, and like I just sent them that it's crazy. But yeah, yeah. He can do all things. He's able. He's able to do all things. Yeah. Not at all. I know that firsthand. I thought it was gonna look like something, and then all of a sudden it looked. Oh, you're doing that. Oh, okay. I know. Right? I'm like walking down this path. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. And God just dropped something. I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. Okay. Okay. Applause. Honestly, he gets applause every time. All praise. Yeah. Honestly, this might be a great time to end it just because like it's been over an hour and I think this is good. And honestly, if you want to do a part two, because this was good, I feel like you have a lot to say, and I think it would be a great time to like, or a great time maybe like next time to talk about motivation or other things. So yeah. Well, yeah. Well, of course, you already know. Gotta get like-minded people around, and just gotta build up people and athletes in the way they should go, and give sound wisdom, sound judgment. So yeah, let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Maddie. Go get Plexus and get her. Get her paid. Get her paid. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Sounds good. I got you. So you just I'm gonna press stop recording real quick, and then yeah. So let me do my little outro. Shout out to the Xavier podcast, and again, we're not sponsored by DoorDash or Uber Eats, but if we were, that would be amazing. Peace. This has been a great time. Peace.